Hi, I'm going to give you an overview of the expert service offerings that we do here at Panorama. One is the big one, Expert Witness itself, and I'll cover that at the end. The other is Project Recovery and IV&V, and they're typically not associated with Expert Witness, but we found that collectively they are kind of three legs of a stool. If you actually had a Project Recovery, you don't actually need an Expert Witness, and the case doesn't go to litigation. And IV&V is independent verification and validation, which will probably help your project not get to the point where A, needed recovery, or when it actually went to expert witness and it got to litigation. So the first one obviously is the expert witness service itself, and it can range anything from kind of consulting, where we go in and help an attorney or a law firm assess the state of the project, the strengths of a potential case, what went wrong, etc. Second would be kind of like a small report or declaration, which is typically kind of a 15-page summary of what's going on that could be used in a summary judgment or to help an attorney make the facts of the case in order to do any kind of filing, all the way to a full-blown expert report on every aspects of a case from, again, they typically say it's a software failure, but quite often it's all the input. So, was the software appropriate? Was the staffing appropriate? Did they have the right people on the job? Was the scope appropriate? Was the budget appropriate? The decision making, any shortcuts that would have made, was there adequate testing? Was the network and infrastructure appropriate for everything else? So we offer a full spectrum of services here relating to expert witness. Ideally, the time is before it's too late. So that's the project recovery I mentioned earlier. That's the best way, is to stop and reevaluate what you've got so you don't lose everything you've done. Unfortunately, most companies wait a little too long, and it gets to the point there's litigation. So there's two stages here. One is a sort of consulting role where we come in, help an attorney or a firm evaluate what has happened and how they move forward, whether they actually have a case and should engage an attorney, or whether they should just accept what's happened, restart a project or do something else before litigation. And the second point is litigation itself. So really, my rule of thumb is listen to the voice in your head. If you think something's not right, bring someone in, because it's a lot cheaper to bring someone in to kind of kickstart or restart a project than actually go to litigation. But if it does get to litigation, you can engage us to do an evaluation of the case with an attorney or before you hire an attorney, and then from once the attorneys have been engaged, to engage us. The keys are, if something doesn't feel like, human intuition is such that something doesn't feel right, you have an uneasy feeling. And to give you some examples of red flags to look out for, it's going over budget, it's going over schedule, they're delaying things or putting things in a parking lot or deferring. We'll do the testing next week. Meetings are canceled. These are all little things that individually don't make a big difference, but they add up. So any kind of indication that the project is off schedule, you'll I'm no doubt be getting assurances that everything's good. But again, a lot of these little things individually aren't big, but they'll add up. Again, some simple things like delays in schedule, meetings being canceled, someone being unavailable, no replacement, vacancies in staff, the not being backfilled, unexplained absences, that kind of thing. Anything that will give you an indication that something's not right, either with your team or with the systems integrator or the project manager. We see time and time again with these projects is that things were cut because of time, because of money. I would definitely recommend that, as what we have seen with these failures, that cost of litigation is huge in time and resources and the strain on the people involved. So I would recommend, if I had one piece of advice, is to make sure that you budget appropriately in both monetary terms and in resources. One of the biggest things we see is the and factor, where you have someone who has to work their regular job and on the project. And guess what happens? Their promotion, their bonus, their pay increase, anything they get is dependent on their regular job. So as soon as their boss calls to get a report done by Friday, they'll drop the project. So again, it impacts the project, impacts the time. So please make sure you appropriately budget financially and for resources, and make sure that you don't have to deal with the cost of failure.